how did you know?
I heard
Yeah. I did not
I'm trying to avoid that.
to go
Going
there.
into the ear, nose, and throat, you know?
But I had a bad
somebody said they're moving that next week.
Yeah, they're gonna go through my jaw, through the mouth, through the jaw. Got a consultation stuff. But I gotta get in it, the infection's in the bone. It's in the bone, that's why I'm doing that. And they had to take 2 teeth out to get it out of last time, it was like 5 years ago. Took 2 and they put 4 in. The teeth are fine.
Right, this is
The bone gets an infection.
yeah. What's happening about now?
Somehow it was done. You know?
Yeah, I do what I'm supposed to do.
And I work with that.
This is a part
Sure.
because of all that.
The guy's not sure that, I don't know if they even more because, you know, there's that issue.
I'm sorry.
Did you go through these applications? Yes. Casey, what are you gonna do?
Well, I'm gonna gather up all the results.
Which one was
I'll pick mine from together.
I promise you an hour. Oh, I didn't want to.
She doesn't ask what to say. She's like, did you get through those applications? I said, no.
Oh, there's the mini Gary.
Council talking about that. Actually, we're together. We get fired. Do you like the project or do you not like the project? I don't like it. The term sheets is various things. But I would have to ask and I would have to council person. Anyway, yeah, but yeah, so they're on a different route.
Good evening and welcome to the City of Montgomery City Council meeting for March 25th, 2025. We appreciate you all being here this evening. If you wouldn't mind looking at your phones and making sure that they're on vibrate or off so that we're not disrupted, that would be wonderful. I'd like to call this meeting to order, and we have a quorum, Ms. Bevan. And with that, I'd like everybody to stand. We'll have an invocation by Stan Donaldson and then the Pledge of Allegiance.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for another opportunity to serve the city of Montgomery. We thank you, Lord, that you give us wisdom and understanding and insight, Father, in the decisions we must make tonight. May they be for the benefit of the city and its citizens. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. All right, pledge allegiance to the American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the Texas flag. I am the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. I did not receive anything for public forum. Is that correct, Ms. Secretary? All right. Next on the agenda is item number 4, which is a presentation, but the young lady that we're doing this proclamation for is not here. She should be here around the 6:20 time mark, so we'll come back to item number 4. That leads us to the consent agenda. Item number 5 on your agenda. Consideration of possible action on the City Council workshop meeting minutes of January 29th, 2025. Number 6, consideration of possible action on the City Council regular meeting minutes of February 11th, 2025. Number 7, Consideration of possible action on a resolution of the City Council of the City of Montgomery, Texas, declaring property salvage and authorization to disposal of salvage properties. Number 8, consideration of possible action on a resolution calling for a public hearing to grant a special use permit for 0.7059 acres of land situated in the John Corner Survey, abstract number 8, AKA 21049, Eva Street, Montgomery, Texas, Montgomery County, Texas, for a fast food restaurant with common drive-through lane. Council, take these singly or cumulatively. What is your pleasure?
I would like to pull number 8.
For number 8. Let's take a vote then. If anybody else, okay, with 5 through 7? All those in favor of accepting items 5 through 7 as presented, say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries, and we will accept items number 5 through 7 as presented.
There wasn't one.
There wasn't one. I thought I heard.
On the consent?
On the
No.
consent, okay.
But we can make one quick. Make a motion for the consent agenda on items 5, 6, and 7.
Casey, Jen's dead. All right. Thank you. Item number 8 on your agenda. Consideration and possible action on a resolution calling for a public hearing to grant a special use permit for 0.7059 acres of land situated in the John Corner Survey, abstract number 8, AKA 21049 Eva Street, Montgomery, Texas, Montgomery County, Texas, for a fast food restaurant with common drive-through lane.
I would like to table this to April the 22nd because I'd like to think about it. Just consider it more and see what else needs to be. So I'd like to have it tabled till April the 22nd.
So I believe
Make a
if we
motion.
table, do we have to bring it back in the next session, or can we
You
pick
just
one
state
part
the
out?
date.
State
State the
Okay,
date.
cool.
April the 22nd?
Yep.
Make a
Got it.
motion.
Yes.
I make a motion.
Make a motion.
I make a motion that we'll table this to April the 22nd of 2025.
My second.
Motion by Cheryl, seconded by Casey, that we table item number 8 as presented until April 22nd, 2025. This motion is debatable, amendable, requires majority vote. It's open for discussion.
And will we get some more information on it before April the 22nd that you're looking for?
I hope so.
Okay. Thank you.
All those in favor of tabling item number 8 until April 22nd, 2025, say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries, and we will table item number 8 as presented until April 22nd, 2025. Regular agenda, item number 9. Consideration of possible action by the City Council for a variance request related to a lot's minimum frontage and side yard setbacks of lots 27 and 28 for the Hills of Town Creek Section 5 development. Mr. Wisnowski.
Good evening. What this item is, so in Hills of Town Creek, Section 5, towards the very back corner by the driveway to the stadium, they had originally set up the property as a reserve in that back corner with no access. They have since come back and said they want to use that property as a park, and instead they're requesting this variance to be able to replat the property to provide a reserve that goes from the street to that area, to be able to minimize it, just make a walkway there that's on property that they would own and maintain versus being on neighboring property owners. So if you look on page 47 of your packet, you'll see an exhibit showing the proposed change. It essentially reduces those lots to 45-foot width at that point versus the 50-foot that was approved originally for development. Overall, the lot sizes, since these are those pie-shaped lots in the cul-de-sac, are still well above what the variance amount was. One's 10,700 square feet, one's 8,500 square feet. So the overall lot size is still
Right.
above what was approved.
So does this affect the setback to where it butts up to Lone Star Parkway as well then?
No, it should not. This is just, so this variance, what it does is their original their original variance was for 50-foot lot widths, which reduces to 45.
That's the only change.
They're just making a wider access to get to the park.
Correct, they're grading the access that wasn't there. So I think, potentially, I'm doing some assumption, the developer just making a green space. Now they want to minimize ties it into access between these two properties.
And I'm sorry, who did you say was going to maintain it?
It would be the HOA.
Okay.
It's not a city property.
Okay.
I
So
just want
the
to make
next process
sure,
after this would just approve the variance, so we'll still have to go through
Yeah.
the plat process.
I just want to make sure that the fence can't be pushed closer to, because I'm sure they're going to fence it if it's going to be a park, that it can't get closer to Lone Star Parkway than it already is.
It won't change the property line, the right-of-way line of Lone Star Parkway. So, I mean,
Okay.
I do not know if they're going to fence it, we definitely ask that question, because we have a water line that goes through there, so we'll need to see what, or if anything they're proposing on top of it. But they wouldn't be able to go and build a fence within the Lone Star Parkway right-of-way of the county.
Okay. Cool.
I make a motion that we accept agenda item number 9 as presented.
Motion by Stan,
I second that.
second by Cheryl, that we accept number 9 as presented. This motion is debatable, amendable, requires majority vote. It's open for discussion. All those in favor of accepting item number 9 as presented, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries, and we will accept item number 9 as presented. If you please look at your agenda on item number 4, Ms. Ginger Brown has entered the building, and we would like to go ahead and put item number 4 on the agenda. Item number 4, proclamation designating the month of March 2025 as Theater in Our Schools Month. The city has a proclamation that I'd like to read and to present to you. Yeah, go ahead. Whereas every year in March, the American Allegiance of Theater and Education and Educational Theater Association and the International Thespian Society partner for Theater in Our Schools Month to raise awareness about the value of theater education and draw attention to the need for all students to have access to a quality theater program. And whereas theater is an integral part of arts education, and the arts have been part of life from the very beginning and are an inseparable part of the human journey, describing, defining, and deepening the human experience and adding depth and dimension to the environment we live in. And whereas all students participating in arts education courses benefit from the skills and processes developed through the arts and apply those skills in a variety of disciplines and settings no matter their intended career path. And whereas participating in theater contributes to students' development through heightened skills in listening, understanding human experiences, adapting to and respecting others' diverse ways of thinking, communicating effectively, analyzing nonverbal communication, reading, self-expression, imagination of humankind, creativity, and whereas theater helps develop self-confidence, boost self-reliance, and increase empathy and compassion towards oneself and others. Whereas, as a creative outlet or as the beginning steps toward professional career, theater programs in Montgomery shape the future of our young people. There are a variety of benefits that come from taking part in these programs for students of all backgrounds and professional and educational interest, including creative problem-solving skills, the ability to accomplish team goals, and many more. Now, I, Sarah Countryman, Mayor of the City of Montgomery, Texas, do hereby honor and proclaim the month of March 2025 as Theater in Our Schools Month. On behalf of the City of Montgomery, hereby urge all citizens to celebrate theater programs and the students that participate in them as we work toward a better future for this important part of every student's education. In testimony whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the official seal of the City of Montgomery, Texas, to be affixed this day, 25th day of March 2025. Ms. Ginger Brown, I'd like to present this to you. And then I think council should stand up and we all take a picture. Next item of business on your agenda is item number 10. Consideration of possible action by City Council on an amendment to the agreement with Taylor Morrison, the developer for the Lone Star Ridge development, to include retaining walls and to authorize the mayor to sign the agreement.
So full background on this project, this is the Lone Star Ridge development, which is currently, they're creating and clearing the site on Lone Star Parkway. Kind of through the development design process and through the comments back from the home builder to the design engineer, they needed the lots to be flatter than were originally proposed. Therefore, retaining walls are required on the site. So if you look on page 59 of your packet, you'll see a general exhibit showing the location. A substantial amount of walls varying in height all across the property. So what this agreement, this amendment to the agreement does is it assigns and denotes who is liable for the walls, where they should and shouldn't be constructed, and any issues, etc., that happen to walls are not the city's responsibility going forward. And it just it's clarifying it, so in the future, if there is a problem, we have an agreement in front of us.
Crystal clear.
So this has been reviewed and approved by the developer. The developer's engineer is here. If you have any specific questions for him on the need, et cetera, we would recommend approval of the event.
So, yeah, I just, one question is about the drainage. Was the drainage plan, did it have to be adjusted for all the walls?
It was.
Okay, and we're okay?
Yeah, so the original, the way that they proceeded the project, they did a mass grading project, which is normal, and then we'll go back and we're finishing up to review the water sewer and drainage plans. That includes the drainage layout that accounts for the walls. And so one of the last changes is accompanying this is moving everything, these walls back away from the right of way and away from utilities. So again, we're trying to minimize any future repair costs. And again, it's addressed by this agreement.
So I'm assuming that these walls deteriorate, fall down. It's not on us, it's on their POA who's collecting it. It's the neighborhood that will own them?
I do, so it is on the developer, this agreement can be assignable, so if I do not know, Caleb, I don't know if you or Donovan, if this will get assigned to the MUD, there is a MUD owner's property or the HOA on the property, but that's, right, as of this agreement, they're the developer's responsibility. What he does with it after that, we have to figure out, but it's not the city's.
And just for full transparency, from today moving forward, who owns these walls and this drainage? Okay.
Per this agreement, the developer is the owner and will hold the harmless issues caused by or from the walls.
Just because we've had issues back there, so.
Yeah, retaining walls, and, especially when you look at fair water, just down the road, retaining walls, we want to make this crystal clear as we can.
Right. Well,
Not that we predict that to happen, but
yeah, my concern about the drainage is that, yes, the walls belong to the developer in the subdivision ultimately, but the streets are public, that means the ditches are public, and we will have considerable runoff. I'm from up north, so we use a lot of walls. Our topography is much more than it is here generally, so that's something and if we don't do our drainage correctly, we can have a mess quick. So.
You may, Jonathan White with All Squared.
So just for your concern, like Chris indicated, we did a master drainage plan. One thing we wanted to do on this property was obviously to do detention, so we did a large, large detention pond in the very back, did offsite drainage areas, made sure everything flowed through. In most of our designs on any of the on-site storm sewer, we try to make sure that 100% can be conveyed within the energy grading of the storm sewer itself. So we're not relying on any flow through streets. So we do try to make that as an implementation of our design. And then some of the ditches that we have on kind of the east and west property lines, those are actually going to be owned and maintained by the Bud District. The detention pond is going to be owned and maintained by the Bud District. We coordinated with the property next door, potentially giving them access and rights and easements to where that Bud District can basically take care of all of that. We know that we've had some concerns with the area downstream, and so we've been, even through construction, trying to monitor that as closely as we possibly can. There will be a form of government entity that will be in charge of the drainage components outside what the city owns all the storm sewer.
Very good.
Jonathan, will you be that MUD's engineer?
Yes, ma'am.
That's helpful.
make a motion to accept item number 10 as presented.
Motion by Casey to accept item number 10 as presented.
I'll second.
Second by Carol. There's a first and a second. This motion is debatable, amendable, and requires majority vote. It's open for discussion to accept item number 10 as presented. All those in favor of accepting item number 10 as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries, and we will accept item number 10 as presented. Item number 11 on your agenda. Consideration and possible action on a request for a sign variance for the entry sign for Lone Star Ridge development.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. May I approach the bench to
Yes, ma'am.
distribute this letter here from the sign contractor?
Thank you.
Lone Star Ridge again? Oh, okay, the turn one.
Thank you.
I think it's a good looking sign.
I think so, too. It's nice.
Yeah, it is very nice.
The picture is ultimately the drawings, I'm assuming?
The rendering.
The letter is just their apologies that they were unable to attend this meeting. It kind of explains exactly what they're doing and the reason for this sign variance. So what they're asking for is, according to our sign ordinance, you can't exceed 64 square feet of sign face and the height not to exceed 8 feet. What they're proposing is a 782.5 square foot sign at a height of 15 feet. So their variance request is going to be for 718.5 square feet with a height variance of 7 feet. And the main reasoning or the finding that I would support the recommendation of approval of the sign is the location of the sign. It's actually going to be about 200 feet from Lone Star Parkway.
Oh, wow.
So for visibility, safety for the residents knowing where they're going and if they, it would be good to have that type of sign. Also note, they're only proposing backlighting for the signage on the sign, so no spotlight or anything like that.
Great. Yeah, it's very good looking.
Do we have any other signs in the city that are this large? At
Probably
entrances to subdivision?
the one most recent would be Montgomery Bend, that has the two
The one that we approved.
towers
Yeah.
on the other side.
Okay. That's the only other one that you know of?
That would be the most recent. There might be a couple that might be coming up. Maybe not this size. Take into consideration that the actual size is based on how you're required to measure the dimensions of a monument sign. So it includes everything from ground all the way up and from all sides. Where the lettering is actually on a small portion of that whole monument sign, but because the monument sign is so large, you have to measure the whole structure, not just the lettering.
I was in a neighborhood today that had these kind of signs. It's very clean. It's good looking.
I make a motion that we accept agenda item number 11, a request for a sign variance for the entry sign for Lone Star Ridge development.
I second.
Motion by Stan, second by Casey, that we accept item number 11. 11's request for a sign variance of the entry sign for the Lone Star Ridge development. This motion is debatable, amendable, and requires majority vote. It is open for discussion. All those in favor of accepting item number 11, which is the request for a sign variance of the entry sign for the Lone Star Ridge development, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries, and we will accept the request for a sign variance of the entry sign for the Lone Star Ridge development. Item number 12. Consideration of possible action on an ordinance of the City of Montgomery, Texas, granting to C Energy LP a franchise to furnish and supply gas to the general public in the city of Montgomery County, Texas, and to transport, deliver, sell, and distribute gas in and out of and through said municipality for all purposes, providing for the payment of a fee or charge for the use of the streets, alleys, and public ways, and providing a severability clause, a penalty clause, and an effective date.
Mayor, council, for the record, the proposed ordinance number is 2025-09.
Now, they were here and presented last meeting, correct?
That's correct. Yes. And then I saw them on TV the next day.
I make a motion to accept item number 12.
I have a question,
Oh, go for it.
sorry.
That's all, you're fine.
Yeah.
It's open for discussion.
Okay, on page 77, which is page 9 of 16, there's 2 blanks there on the franchise fee payment. What are those percentages?
It was supposed to be 5%.
They're what?
Supposed to be
I
5%.
don't want you to sign it blank, Cheryl.
Well, do you want to make add that to your motion to put 5% in there?
I didn't know how we determined that. That was my question
City
tonight.
attorney,
Yes, so that's what's used in other, and this was Alan that actually looked at the contracts, but that's the number standard that's used in other cities and other franchise agreements. It's the standard number that's used, 5%.
I believe that's what we paid.
Why is it left blank on this one, though?
What was that?
Why was it left blank?
I'm not sure. I don't know why it's not filled in.
Well, is the 2 brackets, one with the percent spelled out and one with the percent sign, is that for ambiguity? We're supposed to match it, it's supposed to be 5% in each box, or? I don't get.
I think one of them is like you type out 5 and then the next one you put in the numeral 5.
Okay,
Yeah, just for clarity.
all right.
I'm not
I'm
sure
sorry.
why it wasn't filled in.
So let's just add it to the motion.
Yeah.
for clarification, when I uploaded that document into the agenda management, I grabbed the draft and not the one that the attorney had given me back. It does read on here, written out as 5% with 5% in brackets on the document to be signed.
So in that case, does the motion stand because in the actual, not the draft, but in the actual paper that you have, it has 5 in there? Or, because right now, we're approving the draft, or are we really approving that? We just happen to have the wrong one in front of us?
You can run the motion with making sure that 5% is written
Okay,
in.
okay, just making sure.
Yeah, and I'd like to amend the motion to include the 5% on page 9, section 10, franchise fee and payment.
Yeah, okay. It has been moved and seconded that we accept item number 12 as presented with the caveat to make the change of 5, the number 5 written out, and 5% to page 9, section 10. This motion is debatable, amendable, requires majority vote. Open for discussion. All those in favor of accepting item number 12 as presented with the caveat of 5% written out and on number 5 on page 9 for section 10, say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries, and we will accept item number 12 as presented with the 5% change on page 9 and section 10. Number 13 on your agenda. Consideration of possible action regarding the BCS Properties Memorandum of Understanding. So, Chris, BCS, who's going to kick this party off?
So obviously, this is an item that we had worked up on last night. We, based on the comments we received, we handed out a revised copy. I know it's not, BCS to take a look, they're not in agreement with the exact terms that are in it, is what we picked up. Now, I will note that as we're just looking at this, we had some impact fee credit that are still referenced in here, so this is not the final version. However, I think just open up more discussion on kind of after last night's topics, what additional BCS is looking for, and more from there.
So Chris, on this MOU, it still has the hotel in there, but I thought last night we discussed those 2 parcels for the detention pond with which BCS was going to be checking to see if it could be minimized.
Correct. On the market version, we had that highlighted as something to be removed. We just didn't take that whole section out because it was such a big topic. At least to bring back up before it gets removed. All the red lines is delete, this is no longer in those sections. So 100% needs to be removed, just like they.
Okay, so you're on board with knowing that the hotel, okay.
Yes, more aware of that. And then one thing that I just noticed, and you gave that this earlier, talks about the water line impact fee credit in section 2. However, based on the cost, last night, it was the overall reimbursement of costs, not direct impact fee credits, was what was discussed. So that would need to be modified. Barbara, we did change to go through, it talks about, based on our discussion last night, the way that we interpreted it was it would be the 100% of the utilities, or excuse me, 100% of the roadway cost, 50% of the utility cost reimbursed through sales tax, and that being from 50% of the city share. So of the city's one share. This is how this draft in front of you. I know that in the discussion last night, there was more than we asked for in terms of creating additional jobs and credit of the actual public cost. But in terms of the 380 agreement, we're looking at different mechanisms based on the discussion last night. We want to go above.
And then Mr. Berger?
So, I felt like we made a pretty good headway last night. Thanks again for all you guys. So for us, again, restating kind of last night, it's pretty simple. For us to go into this deal finance to do it, we need $4 million. So we can do that various of ways that we discussed. We can create a development agreement. Do it that way, but $4 million, no matter how you skin it, is what we need. We've got an updated MOU that we sent that actually explains that. It spells it out, $4 million, and then we've increased it if you guys want us to do the CDs, do it as well. If we increased it, that if y'all want us to do that, then it's going to have the budget was. So we can do that, we just have to increase the number. Not to exceed, it is a not to exceed.
So I too walked away with, I think the city council as a whole, I thought that they were very much in favor of this and sees that this development will Kroger transform this. This is really going to transform us, right? And really provide us with a lot of ad valorem taxes as well as sales tax. And partnering on the utilities and then the roadway, I see the importance of that as well. So I guess it's up to council. Again, we talked about $4 million is in the scope of what this is going to bring to us. I think in the rearview mirror, we're going to say, oh, that's all. I know it sounds like a lot, but we paid 5.5 for Kroger. And I think that what this is going to be far exceed what Kroger has done and what I think even your projections will do. And based on the feedback from our constituents, everybody's very excited.
I wasn't exactly in total agreement because I don't want to pay the $4 million. When you change the pad sites and added the retention ponds, we lost some sub-pad sites because you moved Academy over and those pad sites disappeared. So that's revenue that we won't get. That's other. I'm not against let me say up front, I'm not against what you want to do, and I'm for what you want to do. I'm just concerned about the payout and the time of the payout. I didn't want to pay any more than 7 years. And we've got, talking to some of the other council members, we can't do it in 7 years. It has to be a 10-year payout, which I really don't want. But if that's what it takes to get the deal done, I'm fine, but I still say I'd like to have a little more wiggle room in the $4 million after losing 3 sub-pad sites,
Well, that's what we need to get it done, but we're local, so we're going to be here, and I'll give you some good news. It's not done, but we made some progress today on the adjacent 6.5 acres. We're going to purchase that, so that's more creative dollars that aren't in our proposal. But why aren't you going to come back to us and ask us for some more money for that 6 acres? No. Okay. The Academy deal does not make money. That's what I was trying to explain last night. It does not make money. You can ask other developers, and so cities are having to invest in order to bring users like Academy. So that's a use specific. Once you get that acre, then what it does for the remaining property.
we will not be coming back to the board. That's all.
I was going to say, yeah, that's huge, and that's a big caveat as well. It's a game changer, Jack. It's a game changer.
So the other question too falls back to the ponds. I mean, and I have to rely on Chris and others because I'm not an engineer and I don't understand necessarily the state rules on that, but they're huge. They're absolutely enormous. And I have a hard time understanding why we would need 6 acres of water standing.
We're gonna do our.
They're going to do what the engineers tell them to do, right? I mean, that's not your
I would say
favorite.
to the scale, it's a larger, like,
Yeah.
zoom out, you see the entire 32 acres, it won't look.
No, I'm not worried about the size. I'm looking at the footprint of what it's costing us to do it.
Now it's 6, so.
All right, because you're telling us it costs us $2 million to build 6 acre ponds, or, 6 acres worth of ponds.
And the retaining walls, yeah.
And to me, that's not really part of what a 380 agreement's about. I don't think it's technically included in something that the city should have to pay for in a 380 agreement, but that's just my opinion. So,
But technically, it could be too. I mean, depending on how it's worded.
How it's worded,
Yeah.
the verbiage in it.
In the
We
agreement.
just did a deal with Spring with the bud. We got a $7.5 million 380 or economic development agreement. Had nothing to do with public infrastructure, had to do with what we could do with the dollars in terms of accretive sales tax. And that's how we see this here is we could do other uses proposed on the site in 2 weeks. But bringing Academy and then what else it does with the development is an accretive sales tax and ad valorem tax generator for the city.
And last night
that was
establishing.
fine, but I'm kind of looking forward to the steakhouse myself.
Well, last night, just for the record too, we established that commercially we're at about 40% capacity. So there's that tipping point that Mary Ann talked about where when you build out, there is no more growth, and then now you've 380'd yourself out of, broke. And we're not there. We're not at that tipping point, thankfully. And we still have room to grow, and that's when we can make these kind of commitments and deals with developers like yourself.
Yeah, I think Mary Ann or Kayla, correct me if I'm wrong, we're kind of looking at multiple financing mechanisms, because the 380 has certain rules that the council's willing, wants to go up to that $4 million number. It's just switching, is it based on a job creation or other things that we can provide that incentive. What Mary Ann talked about last night is the rules around 380 when the city has adopted specific to public infrastructure. However, there are other tools in the tool chest to be used to get to that number. That's what council's diaries of getting. Just so we're clear. And then the retaining walls. So the retaining walls that they're talking about are at 105, correct? So
And I think they're around 4 feet, I don't think it's anything.
4 foot on 105, so back, and then additional ones kind of toward behind the academy, or to be determined.
Correct. Preliminarily, it's going to be basically this
Can
one.
you come to the microphone? So
Yeah, sorry, Jonathan.
Yeah.
We need help.
All right, so stand to the side. So retaining walls kind of along this corner here. This is the lowest corner of the property. So we wrap here, come up this track, down this track a little bit.
Who maintains those?
It would be most likely the property owner. or the
Okay,
seller would be
just not
pad
the
owner,
city.
or if it's, a lease.
We're going
Just wanted to make sure.
Create a DOA that governs the entire development.
Not the city.
Yeah, that's fine, I'm just making sure. I don't want to pay for it over and over and
And
over.
over and over again, right?
And so we talked to our mud engineer, or mud attorney specialist today about how we can skin what Chris was talking about. So our attorneys can help with the city attorneys in order to skin it, but this is done all the time in terms of putting a hard cap and not having it for exact public infrastructure.
So could we put a hotel in the 6 acres and get that commitment?
We can look at a hotel. No, I can't make any commitments.
Okay.
but
No, what is that today?
Well, what type of hotel were you talking about?
Boutique.
boutique hotel.
A boutique,
That's what we were originally gonna reserve, where the detention is now going.
So where's the Nordstrom's gonna go?
Right. So, Chris, I'm going to ask some questions on the numbers here quick. I'm going to go off of your sheet you provided. So, if we throw the linear utilities back to 100%, and we double that up, that puts us at $1,012,000. We add that back into the roadway expenses of 1.4, we end up right around 2.5, right?
Correct.
Impact fees, that's a hard pill for me to swallow. To give impact fees back.
Me too.
Me too.
So we look at then we look at the cost, so we're at 2.5. They have 2.7, but I'm gonna go with your numbers at 2.5. So now we have 2 million roughly in the ponds. Yeah, 2 million in ponds, so that's 4.5 is what they're looking at, that I find to be anywhere in the city's realm of somewhat responsible. And like I said, the ponds, I'm struggling with those ponds, guys. $2 million for 3 acres, or 2 3-acre ponds seems, one of the ponds seem like a lot, but also then $2 million for walls and ponds.
And I think, the concept that is being proposed is the pond would still be private, or a private detention, not a city feature. So if you have $2.5 million in reimbursement of city public infrastructure, impact fees off the table, but city water is a roadway, that give $1.5 million of additional incentive, job creation, whatever it is to tie that to what that proper tool is. I think we'll have to come back with how to structure it. But you're ultimately trying to get to the total of $4 million. I think was what.
Yeah.
But
I don't want to pay $4 million, just plain and simple. That's where I stand on it. I just don't want to pay $4 million for this.
That's a lot.
Carol?
I don't want to pay $4 million, but I want a project.
I'm not against the project, right? I just feel like we're hooking, carrying most of the load on this thing. I know that, utilities, all that come back, but we have to maintain this stuff. So they walk away with their $4 million, we still have to maintain everything.
We still have to maintain it today though, too, and right now.
No, there ain't nothing there right now.
Well, yeah, there is on that roadway, there is road, it's deteriorated, and they're partnering with us to build that infrastructure back up. And a partnership is a give and a get. It's not an I'll take and I'll give.
Oh, but that's what I'm saying. We're giving 100% back on the roadway. We're giving 100% back on
But
everything.
we're not giving it right this minute.
Right.
It's laying layaway.
Oh, I understand.
We get it today, but we pay it out. And again,
understand.
this project pays for
I thought your
itself.
mama put some of your school clothes on layaway too.
Look, I'm not saying that we shouldn't be partners on this.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that,
And it is a lot. There's no doubt.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not a lot, but also I think it's a great investment and a worthwhile investment.
But it's
The
gonna,
last best commercial reserve, not the last best, the best remaining land piece in the city of Montgomery. We're going to foster this and develop Class A retail surrounding restaurants. That's going to have the look and feel that the city's going to be proud of. And we're going to protect it. So not only are we going to generate and pay for ourselves, because we are, we're going to pay for ourselves, and this will be a fantastic investment. If you just look at it from a 15-year cost, it's going to be a fantastic investment. We want to pay you off quicker too. So if we pay you off quicker, then we pay ourselves off quicker. So the longer it takes us to pay you, it means we're not performing. So, now we're excited about the additional 6.5 acres, what we can do to really square off the site and all the way to CD Stewart. We understand, and I'll say this last time, I said this before, this is a big ask. We understand. It is a big ask. ask. So we just appreciate you guys.
But it's not out of the realm of possibility, and it's not, you're not shooting for the stars here. I don't feel like it's, I think, I agree.
And just to point out, so the numbers in front of you are only the sales tax numbers. So the ad valorem tax,
Yeah.
I can't remember which one the recent valuation is, but roughly at $90 million valuation, which I think that they were seeing numbers that were higher. We got it right here.
130? Is that what I thought I
Yeah,
saw?
some property tax and stabilized revenue of 270.
Okay. That's
271.
nice. Yeah, that's nice.
Just, keep, so
And
yeah.
when our road taxes 100% come to us and we don't do anything with that, which is not what we have currently today, and some other ones.
I'm not-
And that's
I'm not
the-
against the-
Oh, I know, but I'm just saying, like, this to me is the most sound, the 380 being put together that the city has seen.
Well, if you want to set about 71, less than half of what we have in 14 months, that's a sweet.
Well, that is,
Another 270.
Okay, I make a motion that we accept item 13 as written.
I'd like to amend that motion.
Written to zero.
So let me kind of tell on what the terms are that we have to see in here and regarding the total cap, and what portion is coming from sales tax. And then I would, to give staff and the attorneys time.
Chris, in all due respect, I think what we need right now is to know if we can get the $4 million. And then we need to figure out, I'm not going to agree to the breakdown. Those are just too much detail. Too much finance involved. We gotta.
That'll be done in the 380 agreement. Right now, in concept, we're just looking
What
for
the
this.
city needs to understand where $4 million is coming from is that they're going to, and part of the MOU, if the deal only works if it's 100% of all sales tax.
That's not what we're saying here. The whole idea in the MOU is to figure out what costs we're going to put in there, and then how much we want to get reimbursed. The 380 agreement is going to need to explain what percentages of the city, the EDC, and then of ad valorem tax is going to make that up, and then we're going to tie that to a projection. So those projections will have the property values of each one of these tracts, and then you can see where these revenue streams are coming from and how long that's actually going to take to hit the $4 million that we're asking for. Now, hopefully, it's a lot quicker than the 10 years that y'all are opposed to. So I think, once we do those projections, it'll show that. But right now, we're just trying to reel in the $4 million, what's being done. And that's not.
just high level, and then we will approve the details later in the development agreement.
Absolutely.
The 380 agreement, sorry.
So the MOU that was presented today, it's unapplicable. It needs to be redlined and then agreed upon.
Right.
Similar to what we did March 7th with Chris and I went back and forth on the redline, and then March 11th, we presented it, or discussed it in a workshop.
So actually what I would like to do, because neither of the MOUs, not the one we had that's been marked up that y'all wrote, not the one that you obviously don't agree to the engineer's one. So we have two MOUs in front of us and neither one of them anybody agrees on. So we actually have nothing to vote on. This is right.
That is true.
Right? So I want to table this until we have an MOU that we all agree upon.
Exactly.
But can we vote on the
No.
$4 million?
No.
Well, why can't we do that? Then we can say, okay, this is where we came from.
The memorandums we have, neither one of them is agreed upon. It's not on the agenda.
The direction of the.
We can give direction to Chris and get an MOU in front of us.
Yeah, so we need direction to put the 4 million in there, and then we figure out how to slice and dice that.
The direction of a ultimate or a maximum reimbursement of $4 million that we can then bring back in the form.
In that, so this is what we're trying to hammer out is what's going to be in the MOU.
Councilmember Olson, I think we're just looking for a motion or recommendation to give city staff so we can negotiate these.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That we can do. But that's not what the agenda item says.
Correct.
So Caleb, how would the motion be structured?
To restructure the MOU for BCS in a,
A motion to authorize city staff to negotiate the MOU with BCS. And I think we know which direction we're headed.
Yeah, I do so. I think we would do that. Though I do, before we make a motion, I would like to go a little bit farther in the fact that if by chance we can get the pond sizes down and they cost less, we would like that cushion.
So the 380 agreements are going to be tied to a budget that we all agree upon, and then if the costs come in a little bit lower
Yep, good.
We don't even have EDC involved yet as far as...
No, and yeah, we can only vote on our 1 cent
Yeah.
anyways, but yeah, if you, now I'm good, Cheryl, I just wanted to make sure you got that in.
And with that motion, my understanding would be the next council meeting, we would have basically a final form of the MOU to present to council.
It's April the 8th.
April.
Chris, do you have everything you need from us right now
I mean,
to
if you
do?
put in the motion, we're working toward the $4 million number, because that's kind of the key
Yes,
to this.
thank you, Chris.
And so that way, it can get written with staff in BCS with that number in mind, so we're not going wrong.
So the motion would be that we're authorizing city staff to negotiate the MOU to be able to substantiate the $4 million. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
That's
And then the next council meeting will finalize.
Or the next council meeting, April the 8th.
And just to clarify one more time, that new 6 acres is not part of this agreement.
Correct.
Correct. That's correct.
Still get the sales tax, you know.
Count on it, boss.
The tone of this business.
All right, so who makes the motion?
Sure.
Okay,
Shall I do it all over again?
please,
Okay.
just so it's clean on the record.
Okay, I'm gonna make the motion that for item, thank you, Sarah. For item 13, that we authorize the city staff to negotiate the MOU with BCS for our next meeting, April the 8th.
With
With a cap of $4 million.
Yes. All right.
I will
Motion by Cheryl, second by Carol, that we authorize the city staff to negotiate the MOU with a cap of $4 million with BCS to be presented at the next council meeting, April 8th. This motion is debatable, amendable, and requires majority vote. It's open for discussion.
You got what you need, Chris?
I can work with that.
Thank you.
All those in favor of authorizing the city staff to negotiate the MOU to not exceed $4 million with BCS Capital and be presented the MOU next council meeting, April 8th, say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries, and we will authorize the city staff to negotiate the MOU with BCS Capital with a cap of $4 million and to be finalized by the next city council meeting, April 8th. Departmental reports, number 14. Police Department and Code Enforcement, P&Z Admin for February 2025.
Good evening, council. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you. You have the report in front of you. Just a reminder, we will be starting our annual Citizens Police Academy next week, so we're excited about that. And I'm here to take any questions you may have.
Got a bunch of new vehicles, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, good.
I believe I saw an officer that was downloading and updating software for new body cams or cams inside cars. What was that?
Yes, ma'am. We just got our new Axon system installed to the patrol units. It's so great to have this technology, and they also come equipped with the body cams. They all work in sync. They also work with our block camera systems here in the city.
Awesome.
And so the officers are patrolling, they're also reading just as the flock cameras would, but now they're traveling with the vehicle. So as they're in parking lots and going through the apartment complexes and the businesses, the plates are being read, so they'll know if they're stolen vehicles, if they're in amber alerts, silver alerts, any type of alerts that would initiate officer contact. So it is a well piece of equipment that we're going to benefit from as well as the city.
That's awesome. And when do those go into effect?
We're already
Okay.
running.
So we should see increases in these numbers? Of the lost and... No. Okay. How big is the Citizens Academy?
We are at 12 for sure, possibly at 13.
Okay, good. Manageable. Okay.
Questions?
Thank you, appreciate it, Lieutenant Gomez. All right, Miss Tilly, grab a chair and stand on it.
You have a report in front of you. Did you have any specific questions to any of them? Or any other?
I think, well, this is probably for you and for Mike, but any problems, any further problems with the development down Old Plantersville Road and Cemetery Woman?
Or anything?
Neither. Thank you.
But no spec houses either.
No, not yet. Okay. Do you have anything you want to share with us, Ms. Tilly, at all, that's on here, or outside of this? Okay. All right. Thank you, very appreciate it. Number 15, Municipal Court Report, Ms. Kimberly Duckett. Kimberly, I don't know what to call you.
County Mayor, Council. I have a collections report for February. The citations were 163, and the revenue was $35,702.10. Are there any questions for the municipal court?
Revenue's up big time from 2023 and 2024. Is it the new way that you're processing everything?
We work smart, not hard, of course.
Good way to go.
Very well stated.
You have a new judge also, right?
Yes, he was, yes.
He started now?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
No more phone calls, Kimberly.
The texting system that's actually working. Financial report for the period ended February 28, 2025. Ms. Mary Ann Carl.
Hello, Mayor and Council. You'll see on the cover sheet, the one item that I pointed out to you all is that we had a very large sales tax payment in February. And that was directly related to comptroller audit. There were a total of 45 businesses in that audit, and it went all the way back to 2014.
Wow.
In that audit period.
Oh, my goodness.
Have we found the retailer yet, that money?
The retailer that has been in question, that had been contacted by the comptroller to reach out to the local field office as of last report in February, had not done so.
So I have personally witnessed merchandise coming from headquarters, their other location, to this location. But my understanding is their POS systems are two separate systems, so wouldn't each POS have to pay taxes from its own POS system? Or
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
But I can tell you that our sales tax group, HDL, has reached back out to the comptroller's office to find out what the time period is that they are given in which to continue this.
said retailer's been open 3 years, 4 years?
I think they.
And we've never collected $1, that's going to be a significant amount, because I know that they do a good business here.
Right, and so what we have to believe in this particular instance is that sales tax is being collected. Sales tax is being paid to a jurisdiction other than ours. So that will be a part of this audit situation, where they will be able to take money that would have gone to the other jurisdiction and send it our way, or if there's any other jurisdiction that will be entitled.
So how far do they go back? Can they go back since it's been?
Well, this one went all the way back to 2014.
Yeah, that's good.
And so the council remembers we had a similar, HEB sent us $400,000, and it was meant for the Magnolia store, but they sent it to us, and we put it in a bank account and made money off of it until they asked for it back, which was good. Okay.
Those kind of things are identified real quick.
It took a year almost for them to figure that one out, but it's okay, we'll take the interest.
Are there any other questions about the report?
Good job, thank you. And again, thank you for last night.
You're welcome.
Number 17, engineers report for February 2025. Chris?
Good evening. Last slide tonight. Water line number 2, starting on page 132 of the packets. We'll go through the highlights. I'll hit the high points after if you have any questions. Water line number 2 improvements is still proceeding, so they still expect to be complete in July. So, that the Old Plantersville water line project on item 5, page 133, second part report. The Old Plantersville water line extension that serves the River Meadows development. We're still waiting on BNSF. There's a lot of back and forth on concurrent wastewater treatment plant, expect to have that permit in May. Item 7 and 8, the downtown improvements. We're coordinating with the design team and meeting with property owners, going through different options, and hopefully get a detailed schedule from the design team here soon to kind of get that project moving forward. The wastewater treatment expansion project, we've been coordinating with HAP. They're in the process of the preliminary design. Latest is they're going through a couple different site plan options, optimizing it for future growth of that plant, so that is going well. We did have a kickoff meeting with Baxter and Woodman regarding the water plant number 4 qual design. They are providing their draft contract to us for review, and in your turn, we'll bring it back to y'all for approval. Going on to page 3, handful of, these are all developer-related projects, so lift station 10 improvements, as a reminder, that's the Taylor Morrison project. One thing that the developer has, and I'll just state it again here, is that project, it's not critical for phase 1. They definitely have it for phase 2, the project just based on capacity, so it'll be done, the design is wrapping up, but it's not, the completion of that is not contingent upon, or excuse me, the selling and building of homes is not contingent on that project. So they're moving forward, they put up the funds, it's going. Same thing with Tri Point on the lift station number 5 relocation, both that and the West Lone Star Parkway. They have put up their deposit, so that all that is proceeding with design. We're working on the final closeout docs, and we do have the final pay estimate. You all already accepted the project for Buffalo Springs Drive. One thing that to note is going through the tax lot process that they officially accepted the signal into their maintenance period. That officially happened on March the 17th, so that is solely tax lot responsibility going forward. And then the 2 design projects for College Street and for the booster pump addition. We expect to submit to TCQ for the booster pump this month, in the next couple days. And then the College Street improvements, we've got the survey back. We're working through that, expected to complete design next month for that project. Plan reviews are listed. None really to note. There's been a lot of them. There's 3 more coming.
Chris, real quick, the College Street, that was the bridge, right? Your bridge?
Correct. So replacing those culverts and repairing the road and regrading the ditches.
Right, we talked about larger culverts, right?
Correct.
And that's in the new, okay.
Correct.
Chris, let me go back up there. Number 2, it says that it's going to be substantially completed in July 2025. What is substantially completed?
Operational, it's full, all facilities fully operational for their schedule. So they might have punch lists, touch-up coatings, grass, etc., but fully operational by that time. Now, components will be able to come online sooner, so like the well, other things like that should be able to come online sooner, but kind of everything being completed and installed. And when we say substantially, it's more, we have issues to do with substantial completion. It's when it is a operational facility, it meets its intended function. So that generally that's what kicks into warranties. So a lot, especially with plant projects, contractors don't want to extend mechanical warranties waiting on grass growth. So it'll be deemed substantially complete while they address these minor punch list items through the process.
And I think we really want to try that before. So part of the contract, they had to evaluate the foundation of the ground storage tank to determine if it was adequate to put the new tank online. When they evaluated the foundation, they determined that it needed to be replaced. So we already had it written into the contract that if this needed to happen, it gave them an extra 60 days to get that additional work completed. They had to reach out to the structural engineer, get a design to have us review it and approve it, and then doing a full demo and replacement of the foundation. So that's why that substantial completion date shifted as well, because the foundation has to be now replaced.
A couple other things to note, I'll just hit high points. So again, planning plat reviews are ongoing construction. We talked a little bit about the Briarly development. our report, Lone Star Bend and Lone Star Parkway intersection improvements. We have a meeting with Montgomery County tomorrow to talk about a intersection or a signal at that intersection tomorrow morning. That's at Lone Star Bend and Lone Star Parkway. And item 6, I want to highlight the clean water and drinking water state revolving fund. So back in the 1st of March, we prepared and submitted 4 different projects to get on project information forms to the state for funding. All 4 of those were accepted, and so now they're going to the full application process. So that total is around $20 million for capital improvements. So this puts you in line for low interest loans with Water Development Board, which I've used before. This is the first step in that process. It's a project information. They accepted it, that these qualified to meet the rules, and they've asked us to do the full application process for those. So we would know fully late this summer that those would be able to get the funding from the project. So that was a big win to get those accepted and keep that process going. But other than that,
will you remind me where that subdivision is called? It says, used to be Heritage Grove?
yes, so
Remind me?
the Cheatham Stewart property.
Cheatham
Stewart.
Stewart.
Napa,
Okay.
or behind Napa.
Not the one right across over here.
So as of the writing of this report, they have reached back out. So the villages of Montgomery, which was this small kind of I don't know, garden style is the right word, but alley load houses have reached back out, and they have requested to be on the P&Z or upcoming P&Z meeting for some variances for lot size. So that since this report.
Really?
Oh, I thought that development wasn't gonna have variances.
No,
Not that one.
sorry.
The
switch over to-
one with the-
So the tri-point development, they do not.
Really, homes like that.
Where is Tri Point?
I'm like, time out.
If you look at, if you go to the last page of our report, page 1.
Heritage Grove, Legacy Grove is all Tri-Point.
Okay.
So Tri-Point, Heritage Grove, and now Legacy
Legacy
Grove
Grove, yeah.
are all the same.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's right across here?
No,
No.
that's the one behind that.
By now.
Okay.
So who's asking for the variance from P&Z?
So you were asking about the one right across. the
Right
street.
across here.
Right around.
At the end of Caroline, okay.
And over. That one is, they have reached back out and they are planning to move forward with the project and are starting the variance process. As if you remember, their feasibility study had the Boulevard Street down the middle.
Yes.
With the alley loads behind on those houses. And so we got that application, I think it was late last week. So it may or may not make this P&Z meeting because those agenda items are due on Monday. So likely they'll go to the next.
But we discussed that when they came to us to talk about the variance, because they were going up with them and going deep.
Correct. And so they changed a couple things on the land plan, so we're
Okay.
asking them some clarifying questions. Because one thing that popped up earlier today is they're now proposing to connect to College Street, which originally was not. So, that was on there, so we just kind of identifying some of those items that we need to discuss.
So you don't think they'll be on this next P&Z?
I think it's so we got the request on Thursday, and we realized to have the agenda items on Monday, and we're just.
So I can plan on the next month?
That is a safe one to send, is the next Monday.
Okay.
So didn't that development too, didn't it have some retention pond issues?
It's coming to the west.
And so they're on,
It's a drainage
it's
issue.
all on the west, on both sides of the creek.
Yeah.
So they have ponds on both sides of the creek, and the Heritage Grove has pond.
It's legacy.
It's one of them roads.
As well, so we can bunch of ponds right along the creek.
Okay. Which they were talking about doing like jogging trails around and making it.
Correct, yeah, we have a lot of questions again, we haven't heard from this development
Yeah.
in quite some time. So re-pop back up, asking for variances, and also the Mialago Reserve development, which is over, that they were able to get out of the city of Conroe, they're now back, and so they'll be featured in the items for that one, so I'm requesting the variances for.
Did you
Happen to find out about the ETJ question, or you and Ms. Tilly, that we discussed last night about those tiny homes?
With the
ones off of 149?
No, so it is on our list. We're
Okay.
meeting on Friday morning, and that's one of our topics of discussion, is to get that nailed down and get that, either correspondence out to them.
Yeah, if he's moving dirt, we need to
Yes,
make him aware
yes.
he's out of
We'll meet
compliance.
Friday morning, we'll call Caleb and and what Mayor Country was referring to is on 149 south of Spring Branch Road. If you're going, down 149, there's a dead creek. If you look off to the east, they have cut a road and they're clearing behind, and that is within your ETJ. So we're working through, because they haven't come to the city, haven't come to the and you don't have full control of the developments in your ETJ, but you do have subdivision regulations that apply.
What's the status of Chris Morgan?
Yeah. The drainage?
The drainage up, so we were actually talking about earlier, from the road, it's still relatively the same. We sent the drone up last week, and we just have to download those photos to see if it's starting to undercut anymore, to come back and advance, pushing that project forward.
So I talked to Chief Edwards at the fire department yesterday, and I went by there today, and they were all out there. I don't know if you know, I'm sure you do, that they want to put some administrative offices out there and another office. That drainage is concerning, especially if they're going to be putting, they like a lot of concrete. And if they're going to be putting that out there with the severity of the drainage, so. And then I also had somebody call me about 1097 North, where the bridge blew out, like all that stuff at the end of Summit, the Overtrex property. If a development went in there, what's their liability for all the stuff south of 1097?
The development went in north of 1097, their impact, so I mean, they would be required to study a drainage study that shows their impact to the creek, and that if they are changing the flow of the creek and its impacts of the downstream. So as long as they follow the rules and regulations and they're not impacting it, they're doing proper detention, I don't think they would have to.
They're not, they just don't want their fingerprints on anything of that south.
Right.
Which, by the way, then that leads me to, Sunday or Saturday, I was driving and there's dirt being moved and there's big heavy equipment out there on that, on Atkins
We were
Creek.
made aware, and
I have pictures.
yes, we have pictures. One of
Okay.
the officers was called out previously and asked about that. So we're discussing that Friday, what actions this week. Because that is not a city contractor, that is not
Right.
a government contractor, that's not a contractor that has any plans to do improvements in that area.
So did we find out who those people belong to?
I do not know as of yet.
Because there was no signage on their vehicles either.
Just digging holes.
No, they're making it wider, like they're moving dirt. I was like, what is going on here? And I even drove through Terra Vista and took pictures and video because I hadn't seen anything on any agenda saying that there should be any movement on that
That is correct.
Very-
So we're working with your attorney and
scary area. Okay,
correct.
okay, that was my question in there. Thought I had one more for you. Anybody else? Thank you very much. We're definitely keeping you busy. If council has any questions on number 18 of Public Works, Mike had an emergency and had to step out. So if you have any questions, feel free to write him in chief or ask me and I'll get with Mike. Moving on to number 19, utility operations, February 25th, 2025. Monthly report. Hello, Hayes.
Got to have another apology. On the, if you look at my report, obviously you can see very quickly on the very first page, you can see that we improved the accountability this last month.
Yes.
And part of it was because the report went out before, while I was on spring break with my kids, so hope you don't mind. But let's add 1 million gallons to the flushing, and I'm not even joking. We did, in the month of February, an extraordinary amount of flushing. And that's because of the dirty water costs that we had. And it really upped the ante as far as February. So we hit multiple areas doing directional flushing for longer periods of times than we've ever had before. And so I would say that number needs to be at least 1.6 million, which brings us up to around 91% accountability. I've also been talking with Mike. He got those meters tested accurate. It was supposed to
swapping?
Well, swapping.
Yeah, because, so when we use, I think
The
it's
Caliber,
called,
the Jasper?
yeah, the deep one, whatever, when we use
So
the
the
deep one, the
Jasper
water
is
gets
the
softer, like way softer.
It is softer, yes.
Yeah, so I noticed that in the water use when at my house, like, wow, the water is extremely soft, so I had to turn my softener,
Sure.
break it down a little bit. Did we do any kind of swapping? Did we use the mix different?
I wouldn't say that the mix was different. We definitely were just running so much more volume, and I think that the water age difference was a big factor this last month. Because essentially, you had this long draw, we had very little water usage, and then all of a sudden, we're pumping so much water through there. I mean, that may have been part of what you were experiencing, but, going back and forth between the wells, I think we try to keep it around the same type of blend.
Okay.
And so there's not really a big blend difference there. Do you know of anything where you're going on with what? I don't remember anything.
Okay.
Any magnitude.
I just noticed there was a big change for about a week.
So this is month 3, I'm seeing the accountability, and I hear what you're saying, and I understand, but at the same time,
I know.
if we see it at month 4, then there's a serious problem.
I feel
So,
it too. I
okay.
feel it too. This month, we're kind of back to normal flushing operations. The plant's operation at normal, and right now we're kind of back into a normal mode. And then when we get these testing results back from these meters that Mike was hoping he could report on tonight, but I understand family first,
Absolutely.
So we'll have a full report on the accountability of those meters, and then we top forever.
Okay.
But you're not pumping any water out of well number 4,
No.
right?
Yeah, we do a blend. 3 and 4, we blend them. We
It's
pump
just
a little up.
for being blended out of one water plant, correct?
Okay, because I thought that was why we had the problem with the dirty water, is when we opened up 4. I misunderstood.
4 is usually warm and soft.
That's the shallower
That's the
well.
Catamount.
Yeah.
Correct. So if there's no other questions, that's all I have this evening.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 20, Mr. Hannah. Our building official report for February 2025. I believe you're coming with some news.
Let's see, so I have on here, swimming pool barrier update. I think there's 3 or 4 of them. Still working on some of the others. I did go out and look at them all, and failing, they weren't compliant, so that kind of keeps the permit active. So continue to work on that. And as a reminder, we'll be coming to you next month with, once they produce all the documents and such for the proclamation for May Water Safety Month. So we'll start do a PR campaign. We're going to try to do a little better job. Our system should have generated a report, but it didn't jive on what Kristen had. So hopefully next month the report will be a little bit on more steps on the volume of permits and that sort of thing.
The PR campaign is for the swimming pool.
Schools and pool areas.
Okay.
And then the last thing I enclosed was a expired building permit policy. Visited with various cities and got to this crawl pool here. Kind of the idea was that if somebody comes in and pays for a building permit is good for 180 days. If you begin work, then it just continues to extend. If you stop for 180 days, it expires. Then I've had any cases I remember where somebody pays for a building permit and never does anything. So visiting with other folks, they're kind of with the attitudes like buying a seat for a baseball game. If you don't show up for the game, they'll come in the next day and say, hey, can you get the money back? Or can I start now? Or what have you. So my thought was, if somebody's permit expires, Chris will pay another fee, have plans review again, and start all over. If they don't like that idea, they can appeal to either a board or come to council. During the course of the permit, if they run 150 days and we're contacted and say, hey, we're having trouble getting materials or something of that nature, you can extend the permit. But if they don't ever say anything, it's like buying a ticket and not showing up. So that's my policy unless y'all want to advise me otherwise.
It's all right.
Sounds good.
We keeping you busy?
This man, I think we did 11 plan reviews for Hills and Town Creek. So they should hopefully in the next few weeks trying to get started there. We got 2 plan reviews done in Redford Meadows is the correct name. Conway, they're going to call it Briarley. And I understand we had more coming in that she said a plan review, so yeah, we got plenty going.
All right, awesome. Appreciate you, thank you.
Any questions?
No, sir. I make a motion to accept departmental reports as presented.
Motion by Casey to accept departmental reports as presented. Second by Cheryl. This motion is favorable and minimal, requires majority vote. It's open for discussion. All those in favor of accepting departmental reports as presented, say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries. We will accept the departmental reports as presented. Council inquiry.
I do have I have an inquiry for city staff and Caleb. Would you guys be interested in a summer intern? City staff, admin side.
Yes?
Caleb, how would we go about doing that?
Is it going to be a paid position? Is it a paid position that we have to be budgeted for and accounted for?
I imagine we'd have to pay him to work him to death, wouldn't we?
So much so now.
Not necessarily. Because we're giving them valuable lessons as well.
Yes.
So that's not always the case. We do it all the time at the police department, and they're not paid, but they're getting a valuable lesson.
Okay. So, for the individual to use it as a credit, we would have to make it make it official, an internship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can do that.
So we have an individual interested in that, so.
Have them get solid or take care of it.
Absolutely. Good? All right.
In the historic district, Ms. Tilly, I think this is for you, and I missed asking you. I've been made aware of residents that has a box truck parked in the back of their lot. Is that something that they need to, the neighbor needs to call and have you go look at, or do I discuss it with you afterwards? I don't believe that's in the historic district's ordinances.
Historic district.
Okay. All right.
Okay, I can check it.
Yeah, okay, I think that would
If
be.
you'll just give me the colors.
Yes, ma'am. And then, Chief, on the next agenda, if we could, there's some properties, I think I talked to you about some properties, some ideas. Can we put that on the next agenda?
Already done.
We can talk about it
It's
up
going to be an
front.
executive session?
It doesn't really matter, either way.
We'll do executive session.
Okay, that works. Anybody else? All right. With that, it is 7:21, and we will head into executive session. Thank you very much for being here.
Can you please read the item first?
Oh, yeah, I guess I can. Golly, it was at the bottom. That's on the other side, sorry. Closed session. Number 21, City Council will meet in closed session pursuant to the provision of Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code in accordance with the authority contained in A, Section 551.074, personnel matters for the purpose of discussion and deliberations regarding the appointment, employment, evaluation, and duties of city administrator. It is 7:22. We will head into this closed executive session.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm excited to go shop. I know, it is a
either are dead trees or a non, there's two different ones. There's like if it's protected over 12 inches or it's a non-protected over 36 inches, then you have to get approval outside of the plan.
But a dead tree is a dead tree.
So there was a provision in there that said if it's close, the city can take a determination that it's dead or dying. Or I think you remember the exact wording, but there's something in that effect. Like, there was an account, like, he says it's dead, he says it's just sick.
Do we need to see property lines, markers, just to make sure that this is this is our
Yes, ma'am.
the gray shaded area. Dead trees just to make sure they're grading, no earth movements.
We'll see you all on Friday. I'm sure we'll talk about it.
Oh, you want to sign that Friday, you said?
What's the plan? Friday. Put it on the list. Throw it on the things to talk about Friday.
Friday, thank you.
I was running the road today, I saw you leave, sales offices.
You saw me?
I saw your email.
You know what it is that's sticking in my neck? I was outside of water shelter.
Steve Bowles, we moved 3 times. Third spot. And that first development.
Yeah, but it's been there at least 7 years, 10 years maybe. They were just blue. Mobile homes right outside the water shelter. Just finished.
Wood frame structure. I think people build the pieces and then piece together. Yeah, they're not that.
Because when you walk inside, you step into it baby and it's a movie. And it's right in front of the water side. And I told you, granted, the gates never work over there in the water side. But, you know, it's like this relation, it's this brand new thing. And he parks his house in the back there. And sometimes it's semi back there.
come in just to work this meeting?
No, I work today.
So they have you off the streets for this? So they have you off the streets?
No, I was here at 6 in the morning.
Oh, goodness gracious, Rick Altenbach. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
We
Yeah. Gym at 5. I get up at 4:45 to go to work. Yeah, every day. Some days when I gotta go to Greenway, I get up at 4:45 so I can get down there by 6 and try to beat traffic home, so.
I like it. I don't want to leave. I don't want you to leave. Tom, I don't know if that
You have what?
Tom will games.
We all have to move down. You're gonna have to move down.
Move on down. All right, kids. Okay, all right, it is 8:20 and we're back in open session. There is no motion to be taken. So with that, closing agenda. 23 items to consider for placement on future agendas. I think we talked about properties, but. All right.
You know what, yeah, let's put that on the next
The properties,
executive
I
session.
said that earlier.
Yeah.
What's
Oh,
that?
God, yeah.
Well, there's other stuff too.
Yeah.
About, just properties, discuss properties. All right.
And then there was a workshop with MEDC. Do we need to do anything with that?
Yes, it's going to be a joint workshop with UBC on the marketing logo.
The who?
Marketing
You know Jeff and his logo?
or seal or whatever it is.
When is that?
I don't know, we haven't set it up yet.
That'll be an all-nighter. Chief is going to take care of it, though. I am not going to let you forget it.
Oh, boy. All right, then item 24 on the agenda is to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second, Becky, my sheriff. All those in favor of adjourning at 8:22, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries. We will adjourn. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You never use it.
Tickets for what?
Taste Fest.
Which is?
It's a thing where you go from table to table and taste all these restaurants.